welcome to Finance Deep Dive. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a really fascinating question. How do some of the wealthiest people on the planet, we're talking legendary investors to tech billionaires, how do they legally pay almost no tax? Well, we're about to break down the exact rules they use. I mean, seriously, what if? It sounds totally impossible, right? Like something out of a movie. But what if I told you it's not only possible, but it happens all the time? You're going to want to stick around, because in this video, we're going to break down exactly how it's done.
This right here, this is the key to the whole thing. The secret isn't about doing anything illegal. It's about understanding that the tax code isn't just a list of what you owe. It's a set of incentives. The government actually wants you to do certain things, like invest and build businesses, and it rewards you big time if you play by its rules. So our first strategy is probably the biggest mindset shift of all. You have to stop focusing on earning money in the traditional way. It's all about changing the order of how you do things. Think of it like this. An employee earns $1. The government immediately takes its cut, and then you get to spend whatever's left over. But an owner or an investor, they earn $1, they immediately put that dollar to work by spending or reinvesting it, and then they pay tax on whatever profit is left at the very end. See the difference? So the goal isn't to avoid making money. Of course not. The goal is to make sure that money comes from assets and businesses. This is exactly why a company can make, say, $100,000, but if it spends that entire amount on things to grow the business, its taxable profit is zero. The money was made, but it was put right back to work before the taxman could get his hands on it.
Okay, so that leads us right into our second strategy. And I'll warn you, this one feels totally backwards at first. It's all about learning how to live your life by strategically using debt. Here's the playbook. Instead of selling a valuable asset, like $1 million stock portfolio, and getting hit with a huge tax bill, you just borrow against it. The cash you get from that loan isn't considered income. That means it's 100% tax-free money that you can live on. And this is exactly what Robert Kiyosaki meant when he famously said, "The reason I am so rich is because I'm in debt." He's using debt as a tool to get his hands on tax-free cash, all while his original assets are still growing in value. Hopefully, of course, faster than the interest he's paying on that loan. Now, we have to put up a big flashing warning sign here. This is a very powerful strategy, but it is risky. It involves leverage. If the value of your assets suddenly drops, the bank could force you to sell at the absolute worst time to cover the loan. So, yeah, this is definitely not for the faint of heart. All right, strategy number 3 is something that's way more accessible for a lot more people. Legally turning your everyday expenses into powerful tax deductions. You know, the moment you start a business, even if it's just a tiny side hustle, the whole game changes. That new laptop you need, the phone you use to talk to clients, that trip to a business conference, suddenly all of these things can become legitimate business expenses, and they lower your taxable income dollar for dollar. And sometimes the rules get kind of wild. There's a special provision in the tax code, Section 179, that lets business owners deduct the entire purchase price of a heavy vehicle, we're talking over 6,000 pounds, in the same year they buy it. And yes, this is exactly why you see so many entrepreneurs driving G-Wagons and Range Rovers. It's a real rule. Okay, let's dive into this next one, because this is a fundamental rule of the entire system. The government does not tax all income equally. Not even close. I mean, just look at the difference here. It's staggering. Money you earn from a job is taxed at really high rates, but money you make from an investment that you've held for more than a year, that's called a long-term capital gain, is taxed at a much, much lower rate. And for millions of people, that tax rate is actually zero. And now we've arrived at what just might be the most powerful tax reduction machine of them all, the unique, almost magical tax advantages that come with owning real estate. So here's another question for you. How is this possible? How can you literally put $3,000 of cold, hard cash in your pocket from a rental property, but turn around and report a loss on your tax return? It all comes down to one magical word in the world of real estate. And that word is depreciation. It's basically a paper loss. The IRS lets you deduct a piece of your property's value every single year for its supposed wear and tear. Even if, in the real world, your property's actually going up in value. It's amazing. Let's just look at the math real quick. Say you make $3,000 in actual cash profit from your rental, but then you claim a $3,600 paper loss from depreciation. The final result? You have a taxable loss of $600.
So you pocketed 3 grand, but your tax bill's zero. It's an absolutely incredible advantage. By the way, if you are liking the content, don't forget to subscribe. It really motivates us to keep posting. Now, let's look at how this applies to the home you actually live in. And these amazing benefits don't just apply to big-time investors. The government gives a massive tax break for the home you live in right now. If you live there for 2 out of the last 5 years, you can sell it and keep up to $250,000 of the profit completely tax-free. If you're married, that number doubles to $500,000 tax-free. And for the pure investors, there is an ultimate move. It's called the 1031 exchange, and it's basically like a cheat code for real estate. It lets you sell a property, take all those profits, and roll them straight into a new, bigger property without paying a single penny of tax. You can just keep doing this over and over, compounding your wealth tax-free for your entire life. So the most important thing to take away from all of this is that these aren't some shady, secret loopholes. They are the written rules of the financial game. They were put there on purpose to encourage certain actions. Learning to play by these rules, well, that's what financial education is all about.
So, now that you know how the government rewards investors and business owners, it really just leaves one final question. What's the first step you can take to change the way your money is taxed? Understanding this stuff is the first step, but the real power comes from deciding what you're going to do with this knowledge. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to subscribe. It's the best way to support us and see more content just like this.